Hi, welcome to the program. Amanda is joining with us today to talk about what she has stopped from last copy and progress with that to help our audience to use internet with safety and to get the maximum use out of it. So, Amanda, what is mean by masquerading?
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be writing for the second issue. Generally, masquerading means, in the most generic form, pretend to be in someone else, or basically wearing a mask, hiding your identity. But it's also important to say in this aspect, because we're talking about cyberbullying. We're not talking about you pretending to be someone using a false or a different name and being completely innocent. However, I would like to stress the fact this could also fall into other types of crimes like fraud or false identity. It depends. But in this aspect, we are only talking about how a person will commit traditional street crimes such as theft, such as intimidation, such as sexual harassment by masquerading on the internet. So when we say masquerading or pretending to be someone, it can fall into other types of crime. I wanted to stress here that in this article, I'm only focusing on the cyberbullying aspect.
What is the risk of sharing the password with your partner?
I would say that the risk is equal to sharing it with someone else. And as for for work, you might have to share your password with a colleague, because if you're out of office and someone needs to use your desktop, maybe you'll have to share it. So in these cases, it's important to know that your password is unique from different systems you use. If you have to share your password on a work format, ensure that you don't use that same password for your personal reasons. And for a passer, for a partner, if you trust me, you'll share your password. I think you need to find a better way to determine your trust with among a partner. So it is best case to keep it personal, because as long as the relationship is good, then you will not have issues. But always the issues arises as soon as the relationship gets worse. I'm not saying it's common to everyone, but there are multiple reports of people who have misused these passwords which were shared, even photos, everything. It's very risky, especially if you're in a new relationship. You need to be very careful on what you share and what not to share. It doesn't amount only for passwords, but for a lot of other things as well.
And there's a possibility of from the partner to get to know a third party about the password without he or she knowing it. So it's better to keep the password for yourself as a very
Yes.
personal thing. Yeah. So how
Yes.
it can affect for professionals?
For here, it is, I think, in the most same way as it. I don't see a huge, vast difference from professional to an individual,
Mhm.
because I feel like, there are certain ways that it can change. Imagine if you are a professional and you're trying to get an insurance, but someone is pretending to be an insurance broker. You need to be very careful on the information you share. So, and it could be same for a normal individual. Imagine you are going and buying some product of some uh, created image, where that profile or that is not really a company that is giving a good product, but they're
Mhm.
promoting or pretending to be some other product under false. These all fall under masquerading. So it's important to know that whether it is you are a professional or you're using it in a professional way, or you're an individual or personal, you need to be, in a general, be very careful on what information you share with whom. So you need to, if someone is coming forward to you and saying, okay, this is the financial solutions, don't disclose your financials just on the internet. Ensure you get some credibility. If they are a company, ask them for their business registration, ask them for their brochures, ask them for certain reports. Always ask them for information. If you're dealing with some kind of a product to buy, ask them for their validation, ask them for what are the ingredients you use. Ask them for any customer testimonials. Make sure that they are, it's not just one thing. And also another thing, that most of the professionals, or if you can mount professionals as influencers, are the ones who become the biggest threat is for them, because there's 100 and odd people who use these influencers. Because an influencer, for an influencer, it's very difficult to stop their photos or their videos being used by someone else, because they're already on a public platform. So there are a lot of fake profiles that are created, which the another person will use for another specific. For example, I recently saw that, I'm not going to reveal any names, there's a very uh, I think a fairly famous influencer in Sri Lanka.
Mhm.
uh, Another person or someone has created a profile and is uh, in her identity saying that, okay, these giveaways, share your details, I will
Mhm.
give this much of discounts, your bank details. And this other profile has so much of followers.
Mhm.
So I have not come across, I have not seen a story that anyone has said, okay, I have got caught to this person. But
Mhm.
this was this specific influence asking not to follow these profiles. But if you, sometimes an influencer would not be able to identify all the fake profiles. So
Mhm.
if we are the ones who are on the internet, if we find something, we need to be very careful on what message is right. I think we have the best of knowledge. Okay, if something is free, like in Sinhalese we say, just because it's free, don't
Mhm.
just buy the Tamil or just take the
Mhm.
Tamil newspaper.
Mhm.
Make sure that it is something worth for you. Do your background research. So whether it is individual, professional, it's very important that you know your facts before you commit, and
Mhm.
especially before you release your personal information.
Mhm. And how it can affect, especially for women when they are using the internet.
Well, I'm a person who would like to. I would say that it is same answer to what I
Mhm.
said before, because I
Mhm.
really don't like the gender bias of to say men or female. Yes, in the current society, unfortunately, women get more bullied, more cybercrimed,
Mhm.
more, because in a general form it is not right. But it is okay for a man's photo to be leaked. It's because people kind of don't use it against that person. Generally, if a photo or if some information about a female is released, it spreads like wildfire, fire, more than it would for a man. That is due to the people's mindset.
Mhm.
But these crimes, we cannot say women or men. We always have to know that it is equally harmful for both men and women. Yes, women, please be careful because of the society we are living. It's because a woman's reputation is easily damaged in this society.
Mhm.
That is not right,
Mhm.
but that is how it is, unfortunately. I hope that in the future we will have to, even for a lot of our legal things, most of our legal definitions hold a more male dominant or more female dominant characteristics. Like example, our definition of rape in our penal code, which is more saying stated that only a man can commit a rape. But that is not true. Even a female can commit a rape. Even when it comes to masquerading, even if you come to criminal intimidation, sexual harassment, this could happen both ways. It
Mhm.
could be a woman who is harassing a man as well, to release information, to say, okay, if you end this relationship, I will put this information about you out. You will never
Mhm.
get to marry another person. This could
Mhm.
happen both ways. It could
Mhm.
also be a man saying, okay, I will release this, you will never get to marry. In a society wise, we all think the latter case is the most common. Could
Mhm.
be, but we cannot eradicate the fact that the first case, or the woman intimidating a man,
Mhm.
or it is always a man who is doing it. We can't say that. But your
Mhm.
question is fair bound to say, yes, women needs to be more protected, but men
Mhm.
too. I think it's fair to say for us, everyone needs to be very careful.
And what about the section 345 that you have mentioned in the article? So what it's saying
Yes.
in brief?
So section 345 basically defines the term sexual harassment.
Hmm,
This is so in a way that this is not directly saying, okay, cyberbullying, okay, internet, this
hmm,
is sexual harassment. So
hmm,
that is why I've discussed through the article several provisions like
hmm,
345, 483, and
hmm,
487.
hmm,
So these needs, if we get a case, this is how we will have to look at it
hmm,
in a general form. Okay, this is wrong, but
hmm,
if we want to go to courts, if we want to find someone at fault, we need to
hmm,
have a legal provision. So these are the provisions that are used. So 345 basically denotes sexual harassment,
hmm,
but that is not the only thing. Just because someone is not sexually harassing you,
hmm,
but is committing other thing. For
hmm,
example, that is where article 483 and 485 becomes important, which
hmm,
is criminal intimidation.
hmm,
Sometimes everything intimidation or masquerading is not sexual. It's not about leaking your photos or your personal information. It could be asking you to transfer some money,
hmm,
forcing you to do something wrong,
hmm,
forcing you to post something about someone else, or
hmm,
forcing you to go and do something to someone else. This is also included into the topic of masquerading. So just cyberbullying is not always sexual or leaking photos in a generic form. It covers a more vast area. That is what I have discussed in the article,
hmm.
and I have explained all the provisions very clearly in the article to say what exactly does the provision say, and also I have also discussed what punishments
Hmm,
that can be given to a person who is uh, masquerading.
hmm, hmm. Yes. So how we can be safe from masquerading? How? What are the preventive actions that we can take?
Well, I think from the summary of all we've
Hmm,
talked, I think everyone in their back of mind might know, okay, this is what we need to do.
hmm,
But one, yes, have your secure passwords.
hmm,
Two, make sure you know the people that you are associating with. Three, make sure that you are not revealing too sensitive information about yourself. Four, make sure if you are a professional or a business, to ensure to deal with the right corporations, right companies. Make you have the right to know, you have the right to information in Sri Lanka. So if anyone is approaching you for a business, for any professional need, even if you are a professional and it's a client, you need to be very careful. And in the day and age, we have had to do a lot of our professional work on online, so it could be very difficult to ask a person to come and meet you face to face. But still, you, if you're a professional, make sure that you have a background of your client, you have their IDs, you have some kind of background to know who you're dealing with. And if you're a client and you're dealing with a professional, make sure that that is really a professional. You have the right to information, so always ask the right questions, get the right information before you share your information.
okay. So from that, I think we can wrap up the interview, and I hope that everyone would take extra care when they're using internet. And I want to leave a message to the audience by saying, when you get an invitation to connect, check about the profile, because some of the profiles are fake, and we can easily check that one by seeing the pictures what they have and the information that they have uploaded. And if you are having your genuine account, please make sure you're making a genuine account for others to see it's a genuine one. Otherwise, others will get misunderstood by looking at your account as a fake account. So by giving this message, I think we can finish the interview. Thank you, Amanda, for your time and contribution, and hope to see you again. And we discuss more about how to use internet safe for our benefit. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you for having me. Take care.